So we would like to take the opportunity to welcome and thank you for attending. This is the TRAA is hosting a yearbook workshop today. My name is Kenneth Remke and I'm the advisor of the Texas Regional Alumni Association, and presenting with me today will be Danny Rose, who is our current president. In the past, we both have judged yearbooks, so we wanted to do this opportunity to share this information with you on yearbooks. We will be taking questions later, so if you do have questions, please make sure you write your questions down so that you can ask them at the end. We want to make sure we get through all the information that we have to present to you. So we're going to start out with the cover of the yearbook, and that's what you see on the screen right now. We've put a little sample yearbook together with the cover so we can make sure to show you what it has. It has a theme, and this one we're using our TRAA logo, and we're using all the twisty and turnings. It's kind of turnings that you see there. It's kind of representative of the year. Twisting and turning, having to make different changes, different ways to do things as compared to what we normally do, dealing with COVID and online and everything like that. So it's all the trials and challenges that we ran through. So we use that as our theme for this. So when you work with your cover, there are things that are required. And each one of those things that's required is a point. The title of the yearbook, as you can see in our sample there, it's our year in review. The name of the chapter, of course, for that sample there is the Texas Regional Alumni Association. You should have your name of your school. We don't have a school because we are the Alumni Association, so we just put school on there to show you. And then you want your city and state. We're based on my address. We use the Tomball address, and the dates at the very bottom you see is 01/01/20 through 12/31/20. The other thing to keep in mind is each one of those is a point. If you're missing one, you lose a point. So each one of those things should be there for your points. The other thing that you want to do is you want your theme. And as I was talking about our theme, we've got the colors there where you want it to be, it's anything you want to use. It does not have to be related to the HIA unless you want to. You want to be creative with your theme, and you want something of quality. You just want to be able to make sure it's consistent throughout the entire yearbook. You don't want to change in the middle of it or make it look like you've changed your theme from page to page.
But each page does need to reflect that theme.
That's correct. So we want to make sure we have that. So these are how your points work with your theme. You want to make, again, that's why we're talking the unity, so that we can see that it's unified throughout your book. That will get you a point, that it's continual throughout the book, again, as a point, that it's appropriate, the creativeness in there, there's another point. On your cover, you can get up to 6 points, and each one of those is the points that I was talking about. There's your title, your chapter name, your school, the city, the state, and the year. We have a lot of them. Yearbooks that we've seen over the past will be missing one of the items in the cover. Maybe it's the state, maybe it's the city. They may forget their school. It's just, but we have seen that in the past. So just make sure you have all those items there in your yearbook.
I did want to bring up a point about creativity. It needs to be fairly obvious every now and then, and it has happened at least twice in the past that I can recall. The creativity was a little bit further out than most people would just immediately snap onto. We did have a book several years ago. It took all the judges the whole time that we were judging. We would come back to the book, couldn't figure it out, go back to judge another book, come back and think about it, have a little conclave and discuss. And then finally, it clicked. Right. There were several things with the cover that at the time you looked at it, it didn't make sense. There's some duct tape over here. There's a screw over here, but there was nothing else to relate that to. We finally figured it out, and we felt kind of dumb, but then we felt kind of smart because we finally figured it out. So try not to go too far reaching. Make it kind of simple for us older people.
You're up, Danny.
I am. Oh, that's right. Comprehensive content. Okay, this is worth up to 8 points. Your title page, you have to have a title page. It comes directly after the cover. It's pretty much going to cover, it's going to have everything on the title page that was on the cover. There's just going to be a couple things different. So even on the digital, you're going to have that cover like we had on the next title page. It might not have everything that's on there, but it has a listing that tells you what's on there. So it's very simple. You have a preamble, and a preamble is just going to be a little paragraph. This is the history of our chapter for this year. This is why we made it the way we made it. Maybe this is why we picked our theme. You know, our theme, very clearly, this was a twisty turny kind of year. We couldn't have as many face-to-face events that we should have had. Kind of hard. We had to work around it. We made it work. The divisions. Now this is your divisions for everything, divisions for events, clearly labeled so that when I turn a page, I can go, oh, this is the leadership division, or oh, this is about a picnic, something to that effect. Proper order. Once you open it up from the cover, title page, dedication page, preamble, table of contents, and of course the table of contents is going to follow the exact order of the way you lay out your book. So if you have leadership starts on page 7, I better turn to page 7, which by the way, that page better have a 7 on the bottom of it. And I know that that's where leadership starts. Our year does cover calendar years. So for this past year, it'll be January 1st of 20 to December the 31st of 20. Table of contents, again, page numbers begin on the title page. It's 1 and then continuous. And then it reflects the chapter history for the year. Now, we're not going to know that. You're going to have to help us out with that. But we're probably going to see a whole lot of masks. So that's probably going to tell us it was last year. Does that still mean?
That's
Okay.
our sample title page.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's our sample title page. Thank you. Where it says on the bottom example title page. So again, we're the Texas Region Alumni Association. The title of our yearbook is Our Year in Review. TRAA, that's our continuity theme. School, this is what your title page is going to look like. Now, down at the bottom, we put who we're publishing this book through. If you're making it yourself, obviously you won't have that done. If you have it done by someone else, they will typically put that in there themselves. The Doubleday Publishing, if you can manage to go through those guys, or if your school publishes it, they may put theirs on there as well. And as you can see at the very bottom, since that is the title page, it is page number 1. Dedications. Now, this is one of those, I'm not going to say it's a free point or an optional point, but it's not required for the yearbook. But if you don't use it, you do not gain that point, and everyone else who does has a free point on you already. So our book is dedicated to the alumni. We're dedicating it sort of to ourselves because we too have had a rough year. And look, page 2. The preamble, which we spoke of, this is our preamble. You can have some fun with it, but just, you know, that's page 3. We borrowed heavily upon that, but that's kind of, everybody knows how this year has been. It's been crazy. Here's a table of contents. You see the title page, the preamble, table of contents, example page of a copy, which is of coming up. Scholarship division, that's when we do that. Kenneth is going to go to that in a moment. Hallmark workshop. This is what we've got included in here today, and that's page 4.
So the next thing we go into are the divisions. Our divisions are broken down in the hallmarks, and they must be in order. The order that the hallmarks would be, of course, is scholarship, leadership, service, and fellowship. Don't change the order, because if you change the order, you'll lose a point. Make sure that you have a cover page for each division so we know that that's where we're starting in that division or that section. Now we know we're starting in scholarship, we know we're starting in leadership, whatever that section may be. You can put a picture on it. If you do, make sure you add some information on it, like a headline, body copy, so that we know how that ties into that hallmark. But again, you want to make sure you stay with your theme. The other thing to point out is that you need to, when you're working with your events and your items, you want to consider what hallmark they fall under. For instance, if you have pictures or put something in for your honors in action, that probably will fall under your scholarship hallmark, but maybe it just depends on what you're doing. You have to kind of judge which hallmark it should go into. Your college project may be leadership, it may be service, it maybe could fit under both. You're gonna have to look at what it is and what you're showing is to figure out which the hallmark is best fitted for that item. So when we talk copy, this is the text that goes with your page or your pictures. For each page that has a picture, you're going to make sure you want to put a headline of the event. One event on a page. If you're doing, like maybe you're putting a headline that's your college project and you want to make sure you put pictures that are talking about that, you're going to want to put a little paragraph as to what that event was so that the judges who weren't at your events will know what you're talking about. And then for each picture, you want to make sure you have a caption that describes what's going on in that particular picture. Maybe who is in it. If you don't, if it's a bunch of people, it may be chapter members versus each individual's name. If it's one person, you may put their name. Also, if your event goes to 2 pages, you only have to put the headline on you want to put the headline on each page. You don't have to put the body, the paragraph describing the event on each page, but we need to know this is a continuation of this event. So here you see an example of a page here that we put together, just Texas Renaissance Festival, a little bit description about it. We have a picture there and then the body there that says some alumni members in costume stopped and posed outside a booth. Others continue to enjoy the incredible entertainment. So that's kind of a sample of a page with the copy, what we're looking for. Of course, our headline is Texas Renaissance Festival, and you can see our paragraph there about it. And then you have our picture and the caption on the picture. Then we have our scholarship. This is our scholarship division page. You can see we say it's scholarship. We talk a little bit about scholarship, and then we have a quote there on that as well. And the next thing you'll see is our one of our events that was within, we put it within scholarship in this example, a Hallmark workshop that we have done. You can see there that we have our paragraph describing what the event is, and then we have a picture there and some information about that picture. And I think we have one more here that we did with scholarship. It's just awarding of scholarships, Walter B. Cooper and Golden Opportunity Scholarships that the Alumni Association does. Again, we have another example of a paragraph there describing what's going on. And then we have pictures there with the description of both of those pictures, just what's going on in those items. And then here's one for leadership that we put together, just to show you again the next divisional page, leadership, what it is, how it could be both, whatever. And then our quote to continue with our theme. You can see our theme is on each of our division pages. We have a quote. So here's our quote. So we're continuing with that theme that we have.
I just want to jump back a couple of things real quick in case someone was asking or was curious about dedication. I meant to throw this in there. Who do you dedicate it to? This could be someone inside or outside of your chapter that has really stepped up and helped your chapter. Doesn't hurt to throw something like that to the admin. Just saying. Maybe especially because of what's been going on this past year, you lost a few chapter members, someone to that effect. You could dedicate it to those people in a little remembrance to them. Yes. Your advisor and a professor that's really been helpful. Anybody that's really helped you out that year, you can dedicate the entire book to them. Okay. Sorry, I missed that the first time. Okay, now we're going on presentation, and this is basically everything between the covers. You can get up to 3 points here, but these are, you get them, you don't. There's, construction is sturdy. Now, this really is more pertaining to the traditional yearbooks that are hard copies or soft copies or notebooks or however you decide to present it. Now, you're doing a presentation here online. It's going to be a file or something. I don't know. It's computerized, however it works. It's magic. So it's going to be sturdy, we hope. It magically transfers from your computer over the airwaves, and it's going to land in the Texas TRA computer thingy, however that works. It's magic, and it'll land. Kenneth will let you know when it lands. So you're going to get that point if you turn one in. Grammar is flawless. Your spelling is flawless. Now, that should happen because even I understand that on a computer, you have Grammarly, you have spell check, you have all kinds of fun things like that that can help you. So if you mess those up, that makes you me. Just going to say. It means you didn't use the tools that you have. Also, if you just understand this, and some chapters do this, and I hope you all do it, when you create a yearbook, keep it. It can be a part of your history of your chapter, so that chapter 20 years from now can go back and go, oh, wow, I know this guy. He was a chapter president a million years ago, and now look, he's somewhere doing that. That's amazing. Or this is how they did things. Things were different from this point 20 years ago. So if you were to go look back at some yearbooks from 2000, you may see some, what was it? The millennial, the 2K problem, whatever that was. The Y2K, yeah, that could have been in someone's book that year. But if you do send this off for publishing to have one of these publishing companies, and we're going to give you a list of those folks, if you send it off to have them turn this into a hardback book for your chapter, or if you want to present it to your instructor, your advisor, or whatever, they will publish it just exactly as you send it. They will not proofread it. They will not change the spelling or anything like that. They're not going to ask you any questions. They're going to go button pushed. Here's your book. Have a nice day. We have actually, we do see mistakes like that with just the regular traditional yearbooks. And we have also seen some that have sent them off. I know that now you can do it for much less money than used to. Shutterfly does them, and a couple of others, and they will do the same thing. And we have seen misprints. Well, it's not a misprint. They printed exactly what you gave them.
So the next thing we're going to cover, there are 2 optional points. There are 2 items that you can do that are considered optional. That's the dedication page that Danny's already mentioned, and the thank you and acknowledgement page. While we do state they're optional, you don't lose points if you don't have them. So remember that. But most chapters do prefer to do them. And if they do them, they get 2 points. They're up ahead of you already with those 2 points because they did them where you didn't. If you follow that rubric, those 2 points can give you that advantage that others that don't have them don't, and that others that do not have them don't get. And just so you know, most books within the top 5 have been separated by a very small amount. We say 0.2 of a point. All of the 5 books, or all the top 5 for the past number of years, have received those 2 points. So yeah, they're optional, but I think you're going to want to consider them. As Danny mentioned, dedication, of course, that can be, who you want to dedicate this to. It could be, like he mentioned, advisors if you lost someone. But then also you have your thank yous. Who do you want to thank? Maybe you want to thank college administration, advisors, admins, or others that have helped you. So those are people that you can thank with your yearbook to get that credit for that extra point.
Okay. Oh, that's me. Creativity. Now, this is the one part of the yearbook that is not black and white judged. Everything up to this point is, do you have this? Point. Do you not have that? Not a point. This is by the judges. These are points up to 5 points. You can get 0 points, but you can go up to 5 points. And it's just the creativity, the how fascinating is the book? Did it just really grab the judge's attention? Is it something just super different that we've not seen? It's I will tell you this, one year we had a book, the outside was so incredible. We just knew this was a winning book. They had basically created the cover out of wood, carved it out. It had 4 elements in the corners. It had lights and colors and electricity. It had beautiful division pages inside, like earth, wind, earth, wind, fire, water. And like each page, the division page, one was all flames, one was all water, one was dirt. The bones were great. The part inside was not even close. Mary was kind enough to award them honorable mention, because you could tell that they spent a lot of time at least doing this part of the book. It was awesome. Had they followed the rubric, this book would have gone far and away winner. But it was very fascinating, very gorgeous book. So please remember, not a scrapbook. Use these rubrics. Don't use anything. I know that there are professional scrapbookers out there. We had one of them one year do the yearbook for the chapter, but she used scrapbook rules and just totally lost it when they didn't win or even come in close. And we had to explain, you use these rubrics, we use these rubrics. So it's very specific. Again, be careful if you're overly creative. It might go over the heads of some of us, but that, again, 0 to 5 points. Put something really cool in there. Blow us away, please.
So this is our sample thank you page. It's just a page that we created with a thank you and what we set up in our little example for you. If you'll notice throughout the whole pages that we've done, every page had our logo on the top of it. That was just what we used as our theme, and the colors were kind of all the same. So we carried that theme throughout the whole yearbook. You can see it's got its page number. We've had all those numbers there as we've gone all the way through it, with the exception of the cover, but from the title page on, they've had their numbers. So that is the thank you page, again, like I said, that we did for this particular sample that we put together for you. So the next thing I think we have are some links, or not some links. What we did is we went through some of the different programs, looked at different programs that can be used for ebooks that are ranked by the experts. We looked at the top 5 here, or we listed the top 5 for you here. We actually use, I'm going to say it wrong. We use the second one here in our sample. We'll just say it that way so I don't screw the name up, because I will. It's free for the one that we used, but if you wanted to save it, you could use them, and they would actually do a printed version and mail it to you. It would cost you $30 to have that done, so you could have it for your history, for your chapter. A couple of things to point out. To remember which way you're doing this. If you're using Apple Pages and you're using on a Mac, the judges may not have availability of a Mac, so you want to make sure whatever you send us can be read with or looked at as a computer that's Mac or not Mac, I guess is the way to say it, so that we don't have any issues with compatibility. It's got to be something we can open up. We do want to let you know yearbooks are due on March 3rd, which is the day before convention actually starts, by 11:59 p.m. You can you email it to our our email address for the Alumni Association, txptkalumni@gmail.com. You will get a notification that it was received and everything was okay. What I'm going to do is when I get those, I'll make sure I can open it up. If I can open it up, everything's fine. I'll let you know we received it. If you do send it in earlier, of course, you'll get that notification earlier. We're going to try to get everybody notified with, I would have to let you all know by the next day that it's been received, but that shouldn't be a problem. It's just a matter of getting them. Then what we'll do is we'll have our judges judge them, and then we'll announce the winner during the actual convention. The rubrics that we do use is available on the Texas Region website. I think it's under awards. I'd have to go back and look. I haven't looked lately to remember where it's at, but I think it's under the awards.
It is.
Yes, under honors and awards.
Under honors and awards is where you'll find the rubrics. And basically our screens that we did here was just looking at those rubrics and pulling that information out. So we want to make sure you have all that information available for you if you need that information. Danny, you have anything to add before we open it up for any questions?
I did, but I forgot it, so I'll have to come back and try to remember it. Sorry. I had a point to make, but I forget what it was. I'll come back to it.
So we want to go ahead and open it up. If anyone has any questions for us on a yearbook, or, how we do something or what we did, or just so you know, we do have 3 different judges. They're from the different districts. We try to use a judge from districts. If their original chapter has a yearbook, we do not allow them to judge. So we don't have any questions come up as far as, the integrity in the judging. We make sure everyone that's judging does not have their chapter does not have a yearbook entered. So,
and that's Kenneth, thank you. That's what I had in my head. That was the part I couldn't remember about in case somebody had a question about who are the judges and how are they chosen. That was it. Thank you. So anybody participating have any other questions?
So I know this is being recorded, and if anyone's watching the recording later and has a question, they can always send it to our email address. Again, that's at txptkalumni@gmail.com, and we can answer it for you then. But I just want to be sure I don't see anyone have any questions here unless I'm not letting it come through or not seeing it.
Oh, I was going to say it out loud instead of through the chat.
Sure.
I was just going to ask, so just for clarity's sake, the cover and the title page are 2 different things with their own individual points.
Yes. And if you take a book, if you ever open a book, you've got to cover the book. And when you open it up, you've got your cover page, which they a lot of times look exactly alike.
Yeah.
I think that's our cover. Candace, can you go to our title page just to show the difference? That's slightly different.
Yeah, it's going to have
It's
most
got
of
the background on it.
Yeah, this is the cover. I know, Kenneth, I know you didn't mean to, but you called it a cover page. This is the cover.
Oh, cover.
Open
Yeah.
it up open it up
And
there.
that's
This is
our
the page.
title page. So you can see we have 2 different things. The title page has the same information that's on the cover. It's just when you open it, if it was a book, when you open it up, this would be the first page in the book.
Yeah, it just basically it doesn't have our twisty turny thing on it. It's going to have basically all the same information. It's just going to be slightly different.
It doesn't have, the cover doesn't have publisher.
Right.
Title page.
Yeah. And don't forget now this part that says TRA, that is our chapter name. In case you're not getting that, your chapter name needs to be right there where ours has the TRAA on it. I know that's something. And also, go ahead.
It's the very top where we say Texas Regional Alumni Association. That's our chapter name.
Yeah. And also use English words, because we've had chapters turn in their cover with their Greek letters, which kind of technically that's okay, except that we have to get deeper into your book to figure out who you are, because I don't know all the Greek letters by sight. I know many and most of them, but that one that looks like a candlestick, and there's another one that looks like a garbage truck, I don't know what those mean. So take it easy on some of us who actually, well, okay, I wasn't back around in Greek days, but you know what I'm saying. Go ahead. Any more questions? Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Sorry, I tend to over elaborate. Anyone else? Another fantastic presentation presented. Oh, amazing. Well, like Kenneth said, if you have questions, if you think of a question later, just go ahead and send it to our website thing. Yeah, the email thing. You guys do not understand how far behind in computer ease I am, honestly, really. I have an abacus at home. Okay.
Mary, do you have anything to add?
No, I was just going to say thank you so much for presenting this. We are going to put it on the TXPTK YouTube channel so it can be viewed later. And we also appreciate you sponsoring this competition every year. It's a great opportunity for chapters to get to reflect. And we just really appreciate the continued sponsorship of this competition.
That reminds me, Linda. Linda? Who's Linda? Mary. I have a question. Sorry.
Yes.
Typically, a scholarship is awarded to leadership for the winner of the, is it honors?
Yeah,
Or
Texas Honors.
Texas Honors Institute.
Mhm.
How's that going to work this year, perhaps, if we don't have a face-to-face? Will it be a virtual scholarship?
It'll be we'll do a scholarship to the virtual event. And-
I know that I meant to bring that up at the very beginning, said, hey, what is this? What is in it for us? Well, if you do
Sure.
this, you win, you get a scholarship.
Yeah. And so I was also thinking as you were presenting, and so I'll just go ahead and say it now and it'll be in the recording. We typically do a scholarship to the chapter that wins the traditional and then the chapter that wins the digital. And so I think what we'll do this year to try to keep it kind of equitable in awarding is we'll do a scholarship for first and second place. And maybe we'll do a little extra, some type of prize for the first place winner to go along with that.
That's great. That's great because like Kenneth pointed out earlier, sometimes the difference between first and second place is that. And that's wonderful, wonderful. Because they are getting better through the years. They have gotten so tight. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know everyone else does as well.
Hopefully we'll get a whole bunch of them and Kenneth's files will crash or something. However that works.
We
I
can
heard
hope.
that on TV. I don't know.